Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on my channel, we are all about real makeup for real life and real people. Today's video is going to be a 3 looks, 1 palette with the Colourpop That's Taupe palette. No, this is not new, but it is being re-promoted by the stunning, the marvelous, the kindest person you will ever find on YouTube, Miss Allie Glines, Mrs. actually. And she's putting out a bundle with Colourpop, which I always think is so cool, and I'm sure a great honor for those that have put out bundles before. For example, Emily Noel, Andrea Mattiliano, and now the beautiful Allie Glines. And one of the biggest parts of the bundle that I was excited about was the That's Taupe palette. I already had the palette, so I won't be buying the bundle, but if you are interested in trying some really great products from Colourpop, I will link that bundle down in the description box, as well as the palette separately. They are affiliate links, so just so you know. I do get like some penny kickback kind of action, but if you're not comfortable with that, I totally understand. No worries. So I am going to share with you today 3 looks with this palette, 3 different looks I feel like. We have an all matte look, we have this more smoky look, and then I've done a more everyday sort of muted glam look for you. And I'm really excited to share these looks with you and show you what you might be able to accomplish if you think you might pick up this palette or Allie's bundle. But before we get into all of that, if you are new here, a very special welcome to you. I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave today if you like what you see. And then you'll be able to find my videos more easily on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday when I upload. But with all that said, let's get into the 3 looks. Hi guys, welcome to the first look with the Colourpop That's Taupe palette. 10 out of 10 on packaging, but we are going to find out about the rest of the palette, the innards, and see how they perform. Today I'm going to do a mostly matte look. I'm going to first go in with the shade Boa in the transition area, and I'm just going to use my big fluffy brush from Delium Tools to blend things out. I almost never do like matte looks, it seems like, so I just felt like doing one today. I actually do matte looks quite frequently in my everyday life. There is quite a bit of kick up in the pan, not a deal breaker for me, but somewhat unusual to some of the other Colourpop mattes that I've experienced. And then I'm going to take this little pencil brush and take Boa on the lower lash line as well, just starting to create a little bit of shadow. The main shade is going to be this more pinky shade right here, which is called Python. That is one of the shades in this palette that immediately spoke to me, and mattes don't speak to me all that often, but there's something about this matte that just trips my little trigger. So I'm just patting this on, making sure I have the most opacity that I can get, and then once I have most of what I want, I'm just going to take this brush and blend up into the crease a little. I don't want to bring it up too high, but I do want you to be able to see that shadow when my eye is open. All right, beautiful. And then taking my original fluffy brush, no additional product, I just want to buff out the edges. Before we get into the shimmer, I want a little tiny bit of depth on the outer corner. Maybe I'll go into Bedrock. This is just a tiny bit more warm, and I'm picking this up on the tip of the brush, not the flat side, and I'm just going to take this a little bit along the upper lash line, kind of at an angle, and once I have it placed, then I'll start blending it up ever so slightly toward the crease. Lather, rinse, repeat until you're happy with your depth. Very subtle difference, but it just kind of cleans things up a little bit, I feel like. When you're doing an all matte eye, I think that depth and light is important. Even if you wanted to only do matte shadows, you could go back in with that first shade we used on the inner part of the lid and just get the tiniest indication of light there. Now for a shimmer, I think I want to go into this Super Shock shadow, which is Slated. My favorite way to apply Super Shock shadows is with a sponge tip applicator. I happen to have this dual-ended brush from a really old Rimmel palette that I don't have anymore, but it has a sponge tip and it has this tiny little brush that's perfect for inner corner highlights. So I'm gonna just pick up as little of the Slated Super Shock shadow as I can, tap it off, and I'm just going to put this right here on the innermost part of the lid. Now I'm gonna build it up slowly, allegedly, because I don't want to go overboard. About like that. And then I'm gonna take my finger and just press over the edge just to blend it a little bit. And that is it. Hopefully that seems simple and that I didn't complicate it too much, because it is a really simple look, and if I'm not talking through it, I can get it done lickety split. But I'm gonna pop off of here, do some maybe liner, definitely mascara, and a lip, and I will be right back to show you the completed look. All right, we're back, and I'm gonna tell you how I finished off this look. I first lined my top and bottom lash lines with this eyeliner from Colourpop. It's from the Bambi collection, and it is the shade Purdy, the shade on the end here. And then I added a little bit of my Pixie Eye Bright Liner in Nude on the lower inner rim. I used the e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara for mascara today. And then for lips, I was reading yesterday that one of the trends for spring 2021, one of the lip looks besides like statement bright lips that's going to be popular this spring allegedly is a lined lip with a clear gloss. So I did that today. I lined my lips with my MAC Whirl lip pencil, and then I went in with the e.l.f. lip lacquer in clear. What do you think of the completed look? I really like how this came out. It's exactly what I was hoping for. So I will see you very, very soon for look number 2. Hey guys, welcome back for the second look with the Colourpop That's Taupe palette. I think I'm gonna start things off in my transition with this middle shade up here, which is called Pebble Beach. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start that off in the crease and transition area. Next, for another shade we haven't used yet, I'm gonna go down into this deep, cool shade. Kind of looks like a taupe or a gray a little bit. It's called Rock Steady, and I want to use this as my crease shade slash, you know, have it on the outer corner as well, just to see what's up with that shade. This is a brush I got for free. It's the e.l.f. and Nibella Noir brush. It's kind of misshapen a little bit from like packing and shipping, so, but I wanted to try it. Really pretty, I like that. It's a nice shadowy contour to the eye. Just taking my original fluffy, no additional product and just blending everything together. These mattes in the palette definitely blend like beautifully. Right. Next, I'm gonna take this shade right here, which is called Cold Blooded, and we're gonna put this on the outer third to half of the lid, and if need be, we'll build up a little more depth in the outer V, but for right now, this is what we're doing. It's a really pretty sort of taupey shade. And I know Allie talked about this, Allie Glines, in her video about her bundle. But the thing that I love about this palette is I feel like it could be everyday or it can be glam. You could use this for a wedding. You could, I mean, it's just amazing to me how versatile this palette is. When looking at it, it kind of looks like 50 Shades of Taupe, you know? For the inner part of the lid, we're gonna go into this stunner right here called Snake Eyes. Definitely one of the shades that caught my attention right away in the palette. And this one has almost like a little bit of a pinky tone to it. I think it would go beautifully with Python up here that we used all over the lid in the first look. I just see endless possibilities with this. And yeah, they're all gonna come out looking neutral and taupe, but there's a lot of people that use these types of shades on an everyday basis, and I just love that. It's so pretty. And I also think too, if you don't have this palette or don't plan to buy it, you probably have a lot of shades like this, or possibly have a lot of shades like this in your own collection that you can use and just take inspiration from this video or any video featuring this palette. Okay, now I'm gonna take that same shade Snake Eyes on my phalange right here and just try to punch this up a little bit just on the mobile lid and along the upper lash line. All right, I'm gonna take this pencil brush from Delium Tools and we're gonna go back into this shade down here, which is Rock Steady. I'm gonna pick a good amount of this up on my brush, and we're just going to deepen the outer corner just a little bit since the darker shimmer kind of went over top, and then whatever's left on the brush, I'm gonna run on that lower lash line. I'm going to clean up a little bit on the sides here, put on some liner and mascara and the lip, do something about the hair as always, and then I will be back and we will wrap up this look. Okay, we're back. Ta-da! This is the completed look. I decided to go bold with the lip, and even though this is a cool tone look, I went with a warm tone because there are no rules to makeup and I like how it looks. So I lined my lips first with the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in the shade Walk of No Shame. And then an old favorite lippy that is definitely a favorite for spring is my Bobbi Brown Crushed Liquid Lip in the shade Give a Fig. And that's how I finished off the look. Lashes. Where did my mascara go? Hello, mascara? Where did I put it? Where could it have gone? Am I blind? Okay, well, my mascara has vanished into thin air, but I did use the CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. I really love this mascara for a softer, fluttery look. Used my huge Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now Kohl eyeliner and my Pixie Eye Bright liner in the shade Nude in the lower inner rim. So let me know, what do you think of this look? What do you think of the lip with the look? And I will see you momentarily for the last. And welcome to the third and final look with the Colourpop That's Taupe palette. I'm going smoky today, allegedly, and I kind of forgot, in true Kyra fashion, that I was going to do my eyes first today. So we may or may not end up with some fallout on this beautiful, glowy skin, but let's get started. I think I'm gonna first go in with this shade right here, the lightest shade in the palette called Boa. And I should mention, I don't think I've mentioned so far, that I'm absolutely terrified of snakes. Like, I know people say I'm scared of snakes. No, I'm terrified. There was one year here in Colorado where I'd planted a garden and I had worked really hard on like kind of fencing it in to keep the rabbits out and things like that. And one day I was working in the garden and one of the pots that I had tomatoes in was like kind of off kilter, and so I was gonna kind of move it over, like roll it over, because it was a huge pot. And as I rolled the pot out of the little impression that it had made, there was a garden snake, a gardener, whatever y'all call them. And I didn't go back in my garden for the rest of the summer. I just let it die. That's how much I'm scared of snakes. Just kind of have that laid down, maybe a little setting of my base, which is MAC Paint Pot. And now I'm gonna go into the shade, which is Pebble Beach. You guys, how do you feel about snakes? I think it's interesting too, because why are you so whiny today? Huh? Why are you whiny? Go sleep, take a snoozle. Anyhow, we have 2 bearded dragons, so it's not like I'm completely anti-reptile or anything like that. But snakes, I'm just terrified of them. That's a really beautiful, just nice contouring shade there. Also going to take a pencil brush here into that same Pebble Beach shade and go ahead and place that on the lower lash line. And now I'm going to show you the reason why I should have done my eyes first. And that is, I want to put this more greenish taupe right here called Constrictor all over my lid, and then possibly do like a lazy halo eye. So I definitely think I should put on glitter glue, so I'm gonna do that right quick. All right, so there is the first eye glued. I'm gonna take the shade Constrictor on my finger. Now this puppy is a little chunky, so I have it on my finger. I'm just gonna blow on it like that. I can't advise you to do that because it's probably not sanitary, but this is my own makeup and my own eyeball, and hopefully we will avoid some fallout. Just take your time and press things into the glue when you're working with shades like this. I do see a tiny bit of fallout. I'm sure it will sweep away. Yep, no problem. All right, so now that we have that kind of laid down, I'm gonna ever so slightly blend it into the outermost corner, slightly up into the crease, and then the same thing on the inner corner. Okay, there's that. I did not experience hardly any fallout at all, so I definitely recommend a glitter glue. Use your finger because you can press that shadow straight into the glue. You don't have loose, you know, brush hairs or whatever where the shadow can fall off the brush, because I think that's when you end up with fallout. So just my recommendations, you do you, boo. Now, I really think that this shade Snake Eyes would look so pretty as the halo for this, but I also feel like some of you guys are going to want me to use this Super Shock shadow formula in more of a capacity than just like the very inner corner in that matte look. So I think I'm gonna go with that today, see how we do. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah. And I'm gonna bring this up a little bit into my crease just so we can see a little sparkle when my eye is completely open. This is definitely a glittery shadow. And this is kind of what I call a lazy halo eye, because I'll just put the dark shade on all over my lid, and then I'll come back in with something lighter and sort of highlight that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take my sponge tip applicator here and just pick up a little bit. And I kind of want to place this right at the lash line in line with the pupil. I want that to be super shiny when my eyes are open. I imagine I'll probably get more fallout from this shade than with the deep green shade. I'm tempted to put a little bit of this deep green on the lower lash line. I think I'll do that, but I'm definitely going to spray it in hopes that we will not get fallout. So I'm gonna pick it up on that same pencil brush that I was using before, tap it off lightly, spray. This is Mario Badescu facial spray. Nothing special. And I'm gonna bring this just ever so slightly on the lower lash line. All right, well, I'm gonna pop off of here and put on some eyeliner, mascara, a lip, do something about the hair, and then I will come back and we're gonna wrap up this video with my thoughts on the palette. All right, we're back, and let me tell you how I finished off the look. I used my Believe Beauty long lasting eyeliner in the shade Olivia. It's a deep olive green. And then for my waterline, I used this Colourpop Bambi Collection eyeliner in the shade Meadow. And then for lashes, I used my e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara. I'm still really liking this. I feel like it gives me a lot of length and definition. For lips, I lined with my Milani Understatement lip liner in the shade Nude Entrance. And for lipstick, I have this in my Partners in Cream Project Pan to force myself to use it up, and I'm not sure now why I feel like I have to force myself to use this because it's so pretty. It's the Tom Ford lip color in the shade Indian Rose, and that is all that is left, folks. Like, there's a tiny bit. I have it on my lips, and I also put a little bit of it on my cheeks. So let's go ahead and talk about this palette briefly. This is not a new palette, but it is coming back into BeauTube because of Allie's collaboration with this palette, and I'm really glad because I felt like this one kind of got glossed over because of, you know, just all the releases. But I love this palette. I really think for me there's everything in here. There is a lot of shades that I would be comfortable using in a one shadow matte look. There's definitely several in here that I would use for a one shadow shimmer look. So there is definitely the option of simplicity in here, which I absolutely love. I love that they've included a Super Shock shadow and no pressed glitters and no sequin shadows, which are the matte shadows that have glitter inside. If you like neutral to cool tones and you're looking for an everyday palette, you don't have one, you know, things like that, I think this is going to be a really good option for you. I can definitely see this as like an everyday palette. For me, this is kind of like the cool tone version of the Going Coconuts palette. Let me grab that real quick. But this is what these look like side by side, and when you get the Going Coconuts next to That's Taupe, you can start to see that it's not quite as cool toned as it looks when it's all by itself. Isn't that interesting? There's definitely some warmth up here in the top row of mattes. I personally like That's Taupe better, and I like the packaging better, and just overall it has no dead shades for me, no throwaway shades that I personally wouldn't use. So I'm just really glad to have this. Definitely recommend if you want to try some really great products from Colourpop. I recommend the whole bundle from Allie, but even if you don't want the whole bundle, I definitely recommend this palette if you like cool or neutral tones. And also, you know, there's just a lot to experience in here. There's great mattes, but there's also several different textures and finishes of shimmer shades in here, so you kind of get to try out a myriad of different formulas from Colourpop, which I also think is cool. So thank you so much for spending part of your day here with me today. I know time is precious, and that is why I appreciate each and every single time you watch one of my videos. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days. Let me know in the comments below which was your favorite look, and do you plan to pick up this palette? Do you have it? Do you not care? Do you love Allie Glines as much as I do? And I will see you in my next video real soon.